Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're exploring one of the most famous studies in developmental psychology, Mary Ainsworth's strange situation. This groundbreaking experiment helped define how we understand attachment in children. We'll break down Ainsworth's work, go through the experiment step by step, discuss the attachment styles she identified, and look at its strengths, weaknesses, and even an added fourth attachment style. Let's get started. Welcome to Life TFA. It is because this life is lived at three levels: as we think, as we feel, and as we act. I am Amit. I have some experience teaching, training, and talking about behavior, mind, psychology, and psychiatry. I am here to dive deep into these issues with you. Mary Ainsworth was a psychologist who worked alongside John Bowlby, the father of attachment theory. While Bowlby proposed that early attachment was crucial for development, Ainsworth provided the evidence. She designed the strange situation experiment in the 1970s to study how infants react to different scenarios involving their caregiver and a stranger. The strange situation experiment was a structured observational study conducted in a controlled environment. It involved 8 episodes, each lasting about 3 minutes, designed to test how infants respond to separations and reunions with their caregiver. Let's go through each step. First, the parent and infant enter a room with toys, and the infant explores freely. Then a stranger joins and interacts with the caregiver and the infant. After that, the parent leaves, and the stranger stays, leaving the infant alone with them. Next, the parent returns, comforts the infant if needed, and the stranger leaves. The parent then leaves again, and the infant is left completely alone. Following this, the stranger returns and tries to comfort the infant. Finally, the parent returns and reunites with the infant. By observing how the infant reacts in each of these scenarios, Ainsworth identified 3 main attachment styles. In secure attachment, which is seen in about 60 to 70% of cases, infants show distress when the parent leaves, but are easily comforted when they return. They use the caregiver as a secure base to explore their environment. Insecure avoidant attachment affects about 15 to 20% of infants. These infants show little distress when the caregiver leaves and tend to ignore them upon return. They might appear independent, but in reality, they may be suppressing their emotions. Insecure resistant or ambivalent attachment is seen in about 10 to 15% of infants. These infants become highly distressed when the caregiver leaves and are difficult to comfort upon their return. They seek closeness but also resist comfort, often due to inconsistent caregiving. Years later, researchers added a 4th category, disorganized attachment. This category applies to children who display confusing or contradictory behavior, such as approaching their caregiver but looking fearful. It's often linked to inconsistent or abusive caregiving. The strange situation is widely respected for its controlled environment and clear classifications. Its biggest strengths include reliability. The procedure has been replicated across many cultures with similar findings, making it one of the most reliable ways to assess attachment. Practical applications. It has helped shape child-rearing practices and interventions for at-risk children, allowing psychologists and caregivers to support children in forming healthier attachments. Predictive validity. Securely attached infants tend to develop better social skills, higher self-esteem, and healthier relationships later in life, making this classification useful for long-term developmental studies. Objective measurement. Unlike some psychological theories that rely on subjective interpretation, Ainsworth's method provides observable, quantifiable behaviors to categorize attachment styles. Despite its strengths, the method has limitations. First, the artificial setting. The laboratory environment may not reflect natural behavior, as children might react differently in familiar settings like their home. Then, there's the short duration. The 3-minute separations may not provide enough insight into attachment, as infants might behave differently over extended periods. Cultural bias is another issue. Some cultures encourage independence more than others, which affects how infants respond to separations. For example, Japanese infants tend to show higher rates of insecure resistant attachment, not necessarily due to insecure attachment, but because of differences in child rearing practices. Lastly, the focus on the mother-infant bond. The experiment primarily focuses on the relationship between a child and their mother, neglecting the role of fathers or other primary caregivers, who may also play a significant role in attachment. While Ainsworth's classifications are useful, they aren't perfect. Strengths. It provides a structured way to categorize attachment behaviors. This has made it easier for researchers and practitioners to assess and understand early childhood development. It also forms the foundation for later attachment research. Many subsequent studies have built upon her work, leading to deeper insights into how attachment affects mental health and relationships in adulthood. Plus, it helps in early intervention. Recognizing insecure attachment early can lead to support and interventions that improve child-caregiver relationships and prevent future emotional difficulties. Weaknesses. Some children don't fit neatly into one category. Attachment behaviors exist on a spectrum, and some infants display behaviors from multiple categories. It doesn't fully consider temperament or environmental factors. A child's personality and external influences like socioeconomic status or parenting styles can affect attachment behaviors, making it difficult to attribute everything to attachment alone. And finally, there's a limited explanation of long-term changes in attachment. While the theory predicts attachment stability, life events such as trauma or changes in caregiving can significantly alter a person's attachment style over time, which the classification doesn't fully address. So, that's Mary Ainsworth's strange situation in a nutshell. Her work has had a lasting impact on our understanding of attachment and child development. What do you think? Do you see these attachment styles in real life? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more psychology content. See you next time.